What is up, YouTube? This is Lottie, and today we're talking about my Davros, the Dalek Creator Commander deck. This is a fair bracket 3 Grixis artifact deck that makes Daleks, builds a board, and slowly pressures the table. It is not super strong, it is not trying to win early, but if you ignore it, the deck can absolutely take over the game. It is super fun. It's super fun to play against. I'll be using deck check to show you the deck, and I'll be going through the categories inside of the deck so that way we can find out the synergies and stuff. So if you like this type of video where we review or what go through the deck, um, janky decks at that, please give me a follow and give me a subscribe. Give me a like and comment if you think that if the deck is trash, that's okay. But yeah, appreciate the feedback. And again, just to preface this, I'm not a expert builder. I'm just trying to build decks that I like, and if it feels good, it feels good. So let's get into the deck. So it all starts with our commander, Davros Dalek Creator. One in Grixis. He is a legendary artifact creature, alien scientist. With Menace at the beginning of your end step, create a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with Menace. If an opponent lost 3 or more life this turn, then each opponent who lost 3 or more life this turn faces a villainous choice. You draw a card, or that player discards a card. Now, this commander is really cool. It creates tokens. It allows you to get card advantage from the command zone, and it's got a 3/4 body. It's only 4 mana. It is the whole package. So if you want to like build a Grixis artifact um, deck, he is the perfect candidate for you to do so. There are others, but this is the one that I fell in love with. Okay, yeah. So he cares about opponents losing 3 or more life in a turn. So when that happens, we get value. Again, if we damage 3 opponents in a turn, those 3 opponents will get the villainous choices each. So you either draw a card, you either draw 3 cards, or they all discard a card. So it's really a good value commander for anything that you're trying to do. Again, having card advantage in the command zone, and plus the utility of having that commander generate tokens for you. It's such great value. So yeah. Again, let's go to the ramp package. So, so we got a Etheric Amplifier. That's one of the cards that we're gonna use to get a little bit of ramp, but it also allows us to double the number of each kind of counter on a target permanent. The reason why we're using this one is because we got a suite of artifact planeswalkers that we're trying to get ultimates from. One key planeswalker that we're trying to get an ultimate from is Tezzeret Artifice Master. It allows you to draw a card. It creates a Thopter token for its +1, but its ultimate is you get an emblem with at the beginning of your end step, search your library for a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. That is very powerful, and it allows us to tutor cards directly onto the battlefield. We got Tezzeret, Betrayer of Flesh. His emblem is whenever an artifact you control becomes tapped, draw a card. So a lot of card advantage there. We also got Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. We only mainly use it for the affinity. So its static effect is creature and planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. And then his +2 and his -3 are very important to the deck because we want a little bit of graveyard synergy because we're gonna be discarding a lot of cards, filtering through our deck, and then His +2 is very cool because it allows us to give a get a little bit of life gain. Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control. You gain X life, and the key part here is it deals X damage to each opponent, so it synergizes with Davros, because once Tezzeret deals damage to each of our opponents, each of those opponents gets a villainous choice. Another one that we have here is Chandra Spark Hunter. So whenever an artifact you control enters this emblem, we the ultimate for Chandra is you get an emblem with whenever an artifact you control enters. This emblem deals 3 damage to any target. So that's super, super strong because we generate a ton of tokens, artifacts inside of our deck, and it allows us to lightning bolt each time those artifacts uh, get into play. The static ability, though, is not something that's really useful, you know, but it's okay. We can turn something into a vehicle. You know, um, Duretti, we mainly use him for the utility of the -1, where we can destroy something, right? And then the ultimate is choose target artifact card from your graveyard, and then we put 3 token copies of that card onto the battlefield. So that is pretty strong because if we copy Gilded Lotus 3 times, so we're gonna get a ton of mana off of that. And then we got Vraska Betrayal Sting, so we can have her proliferate and have us draw a card, which is very powerful already. It's got a -2, which creates which turns a creature of our opponent into a treasure token. So it's really strong, and also it comes in with a um, six loyalty counters, so it's beefy already. And its ultimate is it gives us it gives an opponent poison counters. So that's an alternate way for us to take down somebody, because we do have other ways to like proliferate the board. Okay, let's try to do the ramp again. So again, we have Aetheric Amplifier, and then we got Arcane Signet, Astronaut's Altar. We do generate a ton of artifact tokens, so we can use Astronaut's Altar to like um get one, sacrifice those tokens to get colorless mana, because we do have a lot of high cost spells here. We got Everflowing Chalice. We do proliferate a ton, and we do sometimes have a lot of mana lying around. And if we draw this late, we can like pay for it and get a ton of mana using it. We got Gilded Lotus. Again, it's another um, mana ramp artifact. Is it Signet Clark Clan Ironworks? Again, another way for us to sacrifice our our tokens. And again, Ashnod's Altar and Clark Clan Ironworks are part of a combo. We're in bracket 3, and so we gotta have that combo going on. We got Monument to Endurance. We got a ton of looting effects inside of our deck. So having Monument to Endurance to allow us to value off of those looting effects would be, it's good, but it's something that you can remove if you feel that the looting effect is not that important for you. Um, yeah, Relic of Sauron, again. It's another way for us to ramp, and also it allows us to draw 2 cards, then discard a card. It allows us to loot. Requiem of Monolith. It's a really cool Phyrexian arena, but it is even better than Phyrexian arena in a way that it allows you to draw more if that creature, was dealt more than 1 damage. So more cards. Skull Clamp. Again, we generate a ton of 1/1s here that we want to sacrifice for value. So Skull Clamp will come in handy. We need that card draw. Soul Ring, of course, the talismans, Thought Vessel. Our hand would sometime go over 7 cards, so we sometimes would need Thought Vessel there. We got Thran Dynamo. We're gonna need that for ramp. Time Sieve. This is one of the combo pieces that we have. Since we generate a ton of artifacts, we're gonna need Time Sieve to like do extra turn shenanigans. And then Worn Power Stone is another ram card that we have. And then let's move on to our, to the sorcery. Let's go to the creatures first, yeah? So we got a Big Mother Mouser. Big Mother Mouser, this creature enters with 2+1/+1 counters on it. Whenever this creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. When this creature dies, create a number of 1/1 colorless robot artifact creature tokens equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on this creature. So this can get out of hand. It will come in as a 2/2. Then if it attacks, it becomes a 4/4, and then an 8/8, and then a 16/16, then a 32/32. And at that point, if it dies, you'll get 32 1/1s. And just imagine if you had Chandra Spark Hunter's emblem at that point, you'd be able to like kill the table with one Big Mother Mouser dying. So things like that. And if you all and we also have Chrome Dome. This is one of our combo pieces. Other artifact creature you control get +1/+0, but that's not really important. The important part there is create a token. That's a copy of another artifact you control. That token gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So I'll explain it. I'll explain to you how that works. We got Cyberman Squadron, another combo piece. Non-legendary artifact creatures you control have Myriad. This one is very strong too. Dalek Squadron. It is a Dalek that has a Myriad. Again, we want to attack each of our opponents every turn, and so having a Dalek that has Menace and on top of that Myriad allows us to synergize with our commander Davros because we're damaging opponents for 3 each turn. So it's a really cool card that allows us to like really generate a ton of a card advantage through the villainous choice mechanic. Deep Glow Skate. This is for our planeswalkers and the many counter synergies that we have inside a deck. Yeah, when this creature enters, double the number of each kind of counter on any number of target permanents. Um, Again, since we're using graveyard shenanigans, we got Emery, Lurker of the Lock. So Emery has affinity for artifacts. When Emery enters, mill 4 cards, and then she has the ability to choose target artifact card in your graveyard. You may cast that card this turn. So she's also part of a combo. But but most of the time we're just using her to recur stuff that we sacrificed or things that got discarded or milled. Um, some of our key artifact pieces. Same goes with Golbez. We're not trying to use him for the damage. That will take effect at some point, but you know we just mainly want to use him for recursion. If any of our important artifact creature goes to the graveyard, we can recur those creatures back into our hands. Okay. And then we got Krang Mastermind. We use him for so it's a thought monitor, you know, in a body. So basically it has affinity for artifacts. It has a very high mana cost, but don't be fooled. We got a ton of artifacts inside the deck, which will allow us to like really um decrease the mana cost for Krang. It's a powerful body. It gives you +1/+0 for each artifact you control. It allows you to draw a card, especially what you do is If you gas out and you don't have any cards anymore, and if you cast Krang, if it enters, you draw a card for the difference of four in your hand. So if you don't have any cards in hand, you will draw four off of Krang. We also have Krang, another Krang, Krang Ultron Warlord. This is one of our key protection pieces. So Krang Ultron Warlord is a legendary artifact creature, Ultron robot, flying, trample, indestructible haste. Other artifact creatures you control have flying, trample, indestructible, and haste. So this is really, really important for our protection because a lot of our artifacts are kill on sight and we want to protect them as much as possible. So each time that we play Krang Ultron Warlord, we want to like protect him from exile effects, from sacrifice effects. We want to make sure that he is protected because he protects everything inside of our deck. Mirror Battle Sphere. This is one of our combo pieces. So when this creature enters, create 4/1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. The second part is negligible. We don't really care about that. What we care about is the fact that when it comes in with 4/1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. So I'll explain how that works later. We got Mirror Retriever. It's just a an artifact recursion piece. So if it dies, we can return an artifact card from our graveyard to our hand. So if Krang dies, we can bring him back through Mirror Retriever. Dalek Emperor. I like this card a lot. Dalek Emperor is a legendary artifact creature Dalek for 7 mana. I know it's 7, but it has affinity for Daleks. So if we have a ton of Daleks on board because of Davros, we'll definitely reduce the cost of this guy. Other Daleks you control have haste. Really important because at the beginning of combat on your turn, each opponent faces a villainous choice. That player sacrifices a creature they control, or you create a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with menace. So most of the time, they don't want to sacrifice any other creatures unless they have a ton of tokens too. What will happen is you will create a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with menace. And that's for the three opponents that you have. So let's say, for example, they refuse to um, sacrifice a creature. You create 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature tokens with menace. And they can all attack on the turn that they came in. So it really synergizes with the deck. And then we got Trophy Mage. Trophy Mage enters the battlefield. You may search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost 3, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. So we have, very important artifacts here like Aetheric Amplifier, which costs 3. We got Ashnod's Altar. What else do we got? Monument to Endurance. Um, I think I think those are the three most important ones that we need to like tutor. And I think yeah, I think there's another one here that we do need to tutor. Um, I think that's it. Yeah. So those are the three things that we want to tutor for, and then we got Urza Lord High Artificer. I know that this is a very broken card, but we're in bracket 3. We need a little help against the faster people that are playing. So we're just valuing off of the ton of the valuing from the many artifact creature cards that we generate. So we get mana off of those, and then on top of that, we get to like top deck something using Urza. So it's really cool, really nice. And then our sorceries, we got Board Wipes, Blasphemous Act, Blasphemous Edict. I might replace this for damnation because I think um sacrificing Krang Ultron Warlord is not okay. So yeah. We got Doomsday Confluence. This is a one-sided board wipe. Or you can like create Dalek artifact creature tokens with it. Or you can have each opponent discard a card. It's very useful. And there are some points where we do generate infinite mana. Yeah. So Doomsday Confluence will definitely come into play. We got Expansion Algorithm. Again, this is the Proliferate card with the new Strixhaven set. We got a ton of things to proliferate here. So this one just makes sense. We got Feed the Swarm for enchantment removal. We got Lively Dirge, which is one of our tutors and essential combo pieces. The mana cost is really negligible because we do have a ton of mana rocks. And so what's gonna happen is we can search our library for a card and put it into our graveyard, then shuffle, and then return up to two creature cards with total mana value four or less from our graveyard onto the battlefield. So it's really enabling us to like get Chrome Dome, Big Mother Mauser. What else do we got here? um, Golbez, um, Miratriever, and Urza Lord High Artificer. So we can we can tutor those things into play using Lively Dirge, and it's a really powerful card, and I really like it. Yeah. We got Reckless Handling, another tutor. So it's sort of like Gamble, but for artifacts. Search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle, then discard a card at random. If an artifact card was discarded this way, Reckless Handling deals 2 damage to each opponent. So it has a little bit of value. You don't want to like discard a card that you that you drawn that you tutored for, but we do have a ton of recursion pieces. So Tezzeret's Gambit, another card that allows us to proliferate, but this time it allows us to draw a card. So just value from drawing a card, and also victimize. Since we do loot and we generate some tokens, we have something to sacrifice. And if Krang or any of the other important creature cards are put into the graveyard, we can immediately put them back using victimize. Okay, some of our instants. So we are in blue, so we gotta have an offer you can't refuse as a counter spell. Brush off, which is a very good counter spell because early on we can use it to like counter instant or sorcery spells. And then when we do have the mana later on, we can counter target spell. So it's kind of better than negate, which is a counter target non-creature spell. But hey, to each his own. Destroy target creature. You lose 2 life. Infernal Grasp. Pull from tomorrow. I really like this card. The reason for that is because again, we generate a ton of mana when we do have the board to support that, and allowing us to draw X cards, then discard a card. Um, is really powerful, and there's some synergy with Cool but Rude, and I'll explain that to you in a bit. We got Rakdos Charm for some utility, Scour for scrap, which is another tutor. Search your library for an instant card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. And that it has the modality to recur an artifact from our graveyard to our hand. It can choose one or both, which is really cool. And on top of that, it's an instant. So not a lot of people are talking about this card. So instead of using Fabricate, right? We got Terminate again for some interaction, and then Withering Torment for those annoying enchantments. Okay, so I think we went through the artifacts already. So let's go to the enchantments. We got Cool but Rude. This is one of our looting effects. We want to. We're always attacking each turn with Davros and our Daleks. so we might as well benefit from that. So we wanna, and whenever you attack, you discard a card. If you do, draw a card, and then when we do discard a card, each opponent loses 2 life off of that. So we kind of do discard a lot with this deck. So we want to like value somehow with that. And the level 3 is search your library for a card and put it into your hand and shuffle. So it's another gamble tutor effect that we can utilize. Genesis of the Daleks. This is a really cool one. Yes, it costs a lot, but again, we do generate a ton of mana. For each of its lore counters, for the 1, 2, and 3, we create a 3/3 Dalek artifact creature token with menace for each lore counter on Genesis of the Daleks. And then target opponent faces a villainous choice. Destroy all Dalek creatures, and each of your opponents loses life equal to the total power of Daleks that died this turn, or destroy all non-Dalek creatures. So it's a board wipe, and it's like a Chandra's ignition in one. Depending on the opponent who chooses. So make the opponent that has no creatures choose. So they have a hard time choosing. But it's a really great card, and I really like it. Um, uh, we also have Phyrexian Scriptures, another board wipe, but one-sided at that, because this it says destroy all non-artifact creatures. We do have a ton of proliferate cards, so if we want to like cast this proliferate, we go to level 2 and we immediately destroy all artifact creatures or non-artifact creatures. And then it has the added bonus of exiling all opponents' graveyards. We do a little bit of discard here, and so we don't want our opponents to value too much from discarding their cards. So having this inside of here will help. We also have another Saga enchantment: destroy target creature via the death of Gwen Stacy. That's for the level 1, and it has a ton of utility. And the second phase is each player discard a card. Each player who doesn't loses 3 life. Again, this synergizes with Davros because of the everybody loses 3 life thingy. So, but the problem here is each player discards a card, so that includes us. So, but yeah, that's okay. We value from discarding anyways. And then exile any of target players' graveyards. So we want to exile their graveyards. And then another one, Eldest Reborn. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, and then each opponent discards a card. And then since we do have some planeswalkers, we got some big creatures. We want to recur them somehow through Eldest Reborn. Put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. And then last but not the least, Thopter Spy Network. This one is it allows us to create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying in each of our upkeep. And then whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal damage to a player, we draw a card. So again, all of our creatures are artifacts, almost all of them, that attack anyways. So we value off of this one pretty hard. And then I guess that's it. We go to our land package. So Academy Ruins, it's a utility land that allows us to recur cards, artifact cards from our graveyard. Again, another utility land. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand via Buried Ruin. And then we got a bunch of budget lands here. Darksteel Citadel is an artifact land, so we benefit off of that. What else do we got here? We got another artifact land. Karn's Bastion, it allows us to proliferate, so really useful. Oscorp Industries, and so if we discard a card, we can choose to discard this one. Seed of the Synod, another artifact land. Um, There you go. Silver Bluff Bridge, an artifact land, indestructible. We got Spire of Industry. It's like City of Brass, but if you only have artifacts. Um, okay, Sulphur Springs. A lot of budget lands here. Temple of the Seed. We're running the temples because we're budget. Underground River and then Vault of Whispers. So that's the deck. Again, bracket 3 CMC is 3.5. It's fairly budget. And then let's read the analysis. So critical artifact hate is bad. Null Rod, Collector Oof, Vandal Blast. You know those will kill us for sure. We don't have any fast combos. No infinite combos or early win conditions. The deck relies on incremental value and combat, making it vulnerable to faster combo oriented decks. That's the reason why we have some counter spells in there, you know? And then Graveyard Hate, we kind of lose to that a little bit. And then we don't totally rely on Davros. But we can play our deck without playing Davros, but we do need him for early value. After his first death, it's okay. We cast him again. If he dies the second time, we don't usually cast him anymore because by that point we could be valuing off of our other cards in the 99. Board wipe is okay. We do generate a ton of tokens. And then again, we're very slow. So if we will lose to combo people. So key cards, Davros, again our commander, Time Sieve, Urza, Big Mother Mauser, Cool but Rude for draw, Monument for draw, treasure tokens. And again, each opponent loses 3 life. So if you are not able to attack with your Daleks or with Davros, and if Davros is in play, you could value off of that through Monument to Endurance, so you still trigger the villainous choice for your opponents. So it's a really good card. Expansion algorithm for our planeswalkers, Deep Glow Skate, of course, Emery for recursion, Doretti again for recursion. We don't usually get to the ultimate here for Doretti. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return that card to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. It's hard at 3 life, going up to 10. It's kind of hard to do that, so we just value off of him with his -2 and the +2 because we discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. So we get to loot. And then Thopter Spy Network for card advantage, Cyberman Squadron for Myriad, and then, of course, Krang Ultron Warlord. It says here that our consistency is at 6 out of 10. The deck has only 8 tutor points. Because we do have 4 tutors: Reckless Handling, Trophy Mage, Scour for Scrap, Lively Dirge. It's very conditional. Our card draw is okay. It's not crazy. Resilience deck has no infinite combos and relies on synergistic value and combat. We do have some infinite combos, but it requires a lot of setup. Interaction, we got 15 pieces, 3 counter spells, 5 spot removals, 6 board wipes, 1 planeswalker removal, counter spell points total. So yeah, it's not okay. Fast mana points, we do have a ton of mana rocks here, but again, we have very high mana cost spells, so it kind of evens out. So we're a very slow deck to play. So I don't know if that's something that you like, but given the bracket situation that we have, this allows you to play in bracket 2 pods and bracket 3 pods, and but definitely not bracket 4 because you're gonna get overrun. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the combos. we do have some combos here. So the first combo is Time Sieve plus Mirror Battlesphere plus Emery Lurker of the Lock. So we need 7 mana each turn. So what we do is we activate Emery by tapping it, allowing you to cast Mirror Battlesphere from your graveyard this turn. Cast Mirror Battlesphere from your graveyard by paying 7. Mirror Battlesphere enters with the 4 mirror tokens that I was talking about. And then you sacrifice everyone to Time Sieve, allowing you to take an extra turn, and then you can loop that infinitely. And then from there, you should be able to win, you know? And then Time Sieve plus Cyberman Squadron. So the good thing about Cyberman Squadron is non-legendary artifact creatures you control have Myriad. So it also affects our token artifacts. So if we have a ton of tokens on board, we attack with them and then we time sieve. We can again loop everything, killing everyone, you know. Um Here's the Chrome Dome combo. Chrome Dome plus Clark Clan Ironworks plus Big Mother Mauser. So Big Mother Mauser, the important thing with him is it comes in with 2+1+1 counters. So, but when it dies, it dies with 2+1+1 counters, right? So it creates 2 colorless robot artifact creature tokens. So what we do is we create a copy. So we need to have 5 mana. We create a copy of Big Mother Mauser using Chrome Dome, using the 5 mana cost that he got there. And then so once we have that copy, we immediately sacrifice that to Clark Clan Ironworks to generate 2 mana. And then when Big Mother Mauser dies, it creates 2/1/1 tokens, which you also sacrifice to Clark Clan Ironworks. So what happens is you generate 6 mana because of that. And since Chrome Dome only requires you to only pay 5, you will then net 1 mana each time you do that process. So you will have infinite mana at that point. And once you do have infinite mana, you can then create infinite Big Mother Mauser because you don't have to sacrifice them to Clark Clan Ironworks anymore. And then the cool thing about Chrome Dome is that the tokens he creates, it has haste. So you can immediately attack the moment they step in. And then we can also do that with Mirror Battlesphere because Mirror Battlesphere comes in with 4/1/1 colorless Mirror Artifact creature tokens. So you can create infinite Mirror Battlespheres. And then the same thing happens with Ashnod's Altar and Mirror Battlesphere with Chrome Dome. Now, there's a ton more synergies here because, again, we're creating infinite mirrors, we're creating infinite Big Mother Mausers. So if you have, let's say, for example, Chandra, Spark Hunter, and you have that emblem in play, you can bolt everyone to death. We don't have any aristocrat strategies here, but if you do, so let's say, for example, you're not able to attack at all because somebody has like a prevent attack situation. You can instead win via Orza Lord High Artificer's um, ability here. Because you do have infinite mana already, you can dump your entire library. And if you're able to do that, I'm sure you should be able to win at some point. Um, if you have a Doomsday Confluence, you can create infinite Dalek artifact creature tokens. There's a lot of things that you can do with the infinite mana, with the infinite tokens. But mainly by that point, you should be able to win. I don't see any reason why you're not able to win with infinite colorless mana or infinite mirrors and robots, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a very, I think it's a very balanced deck. It doesn't suffocate the table. It allows you to like build a board, allows your friends and your opponents to like build their boards as well. But if if you get um if you get unnoticed at some way, and no one deals with you, you'll definitely get out of hand, and you'll take over the game. And that has happened with me so many times when I'm playing this. Nobody pays attention to me. I'm just, ramping with my mana rocks, slowly chipping away at their life totals with my commander, dealing 3 damage, making them discard, allowing me to draw, things like that. And once I do have that board set up, I can go infinite turns. I can go infinite um robots, infinite mana, have Orza, dump my library into the battlefield, and yeah. And also with the infinite turns that you have, and if you do have those planeswalkers, you do generate a ton of value, especially with Tezzeret Master of the Bridge. Every turn you get to do this to your opponents, drain them for life, and you gain life. A really cool deck, and I hope that you like it. Again, it's not super strong, it's very balanced, and I'm sure the synergies inside of the deck will amaze your friends, and allow you to have a very good play experience. If you do like this video, if you made it here, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you. Give me a follow. I'll try to do more jank commanders for you guys, and yeah, peace out. Thank you so much. Bye.